Welcome to Part V of the Master Subject Treatise on Mergers and Acquisitions Law in India. This section focuses on competition law and combination regulation, a critical aspect for anyone involved in corporate transactions. Building on Parts I, IV, we now dive into the Competition Act, 2002 and its latest amendments. 2023-2024 reforms have brought the most significant changes since 2011, reshaping how combinations are regulated. Whether you're a student, practitioner, or business leader, understanding these rules is essential for navigating the Indian M&A landscape. Let's explore the thresholds, review processes, exemptions, and substantive standards that define merger control today. Treatise continues directly from previous parts, emphasizing that CCI approval and NCLT sanction are independent requirements. This means that both must be separately sequenced for any scheme of arrangement. Part V delivers a comprehensive framework for combination regulation under the Competition Act, reflecting the latest amendments and rules. The thresholds for asset and turnover are periodically revised, and it's crucial to check the CCI's published figures for any live transaction. This section sets the stage for understanding the regulatory universe governing M&A in India, ensuring you are up to date with current standards. V covers the full depth of combination regulation under the Competition Act, 2002. It explains what counts as a notifiable combination, the financial and deal value thresholds, the CCI's review process, the green channel route, and the substantive AAEC standard. The 2023 amendments introduced the deal value threshold, compressed 150-day timeline, and the material influence control standard. These changes mark a significant overhaul, making it vital to stay informed about the latest notifications and rules. The treatise guides you through each chapter, ensuring a clear understanding of the regulatory landscape. Section 5 of the Competition Act identifies 3 categories of transactions that, if they exceed prescribed thresholds, require CCI notification and approval. These include acquisition of control, shares, voting rights, or assets, acquisition of control over an enterprise with existing control in a similar business, and mergers or amalgamations. Only one threshold needs to be satisfied for a transaction to qualify as a notifiable combination. This ensures that significant transactions impacting competition are reviewed, maintaining market fairness and transparency. Asset and turnover thresholds were revised in March 2024, increasing figures by 150% over previous levels. For India-only tests, combined assets must exceed 1,000 crore or turnover 3,000 crore. Globally, assets must exceed $500 million with at least 500 crore in India, or turnover $1,500 million with at least 1,500 crore in India. Group-level thresholds are also specified. These figures are subject to periodic review, so always verify the latest notifications before relying on them for any transaction. De minimis exemption focuses on the target standalone position. If the enterprise being acquired has assets not exceeding 450 crore or turnover not exceeding 1,250 crore in India, the combination is exempt from Section 5 notification. This applies even if only a portion of the business is acquired. However, the exemption does not apply if the transaction qualifies under the deal value threshold. This nuanced approach ensures that small targets are not unnecessarily burdened, while high-value deals are still scrutinized. Deal value threshold is a major innovation from the 2023 amendments. It captures high-value acquisitions of low-asset or low-turnover targets, especially in the tech and digital sectors. A transaction is notifiable if its value exceeds 2,000 crore and the target has substantial business operations in India. The definition of value is broad, including all forms of consideration. This closes the gap that allowed killer acquisitions to escape scrutiny, ensuring that impactful deals are properly reviewed. Competition Act now codifies the material influence standard for control. This low threshold can be triggered by minority shareholding, special rights, board representation, or sectoral expertise. It is among the lowest standards recognized globally, making it easier for the CCI to assert jurisdiction. This standard is distinct from SEBI's definition of control, so practitioners must keep the two tests separate even if facts overlap. Understanding this concept is crucial for structuring deals and anticipating regulatory review. India operates a suspensory merger control regime. Under Section 6(2)(a), no combination can take effect until 150 days have passed from notification or until the CCI passes an order. This timeline was reduced from 210 days to accelerate the process. Parties must not implement any part of the transaction before approval, including global legs and cross-border deals. This ensures that all combinations are properly vetted before taking effect, protecting competition and market integrity. Parties notify the CCI using Form I or Form II. Form I is shorter and used for most filings, while Form II is detailed and required for transactions with significant market overlaps. Filing fees have increased, so always check the current schedule. The choice of form depends on the nature of the transaction and potential competition concerns. Proper notification is essential for compliance and avoiding delays in the review process. CCI review process consists of Phase I and Phase II. Phase I is a preliminary review lasting 30 calendar days to identify any AAEC concerns. If issues are found, the process moves to Phase II, which involves detailed investigation, third-party comments, and possible modifications. The overall limit is 150 days, and if no order is passed, the combination is deemed approved. The 2023 amendments introduced a deemed approval at 30 days for certain cases, providing timeline certainty for transaction parties. Filing consultation meetings with the CCI are increasingly important under the compressed timelines. These meetings help parties ensure their filings are complete and correctly formatted, reducing the risk of clock resets due to incomplete notifications. While not mandatory, PFCs are a practical step in transaction planning, especially for complex deals. They help streamline the review process and avoid unnecessary delay. Unjumping refers to consummating a notifiable combination before CCI approval or before the standstill period expires. Section 43A empowers the CCI to impose penalties up to 1% of turnover or assets. Risks include not just formal closing, but also integration steps like sharing sensitive information or coordinating strategy. Recent reforms address on-market purchases, allowing completion but restricting influence until approval. Understanding gun jumping is vital for compliance and avoiding costly penalties. Recent Supreme Court decision clarified that CCI approval must be obtained before the Committee of Creditors approves a resolution plan constituting a combination. This overturns earlier practice and has major implications for distressed M&A resolution applicants must now factor CCI review timelines into the insolvency process, ensuring compliance with both competition and insolvency laws. This change highlights the interconnectedness of regulatory gateways in Indian M&A. Competition criteria for exemption of combinations, rules, 2024 codify transaction categories that do not require CCI notification. These include acquisitions solely as investment, intergroup acquisitions, and certain asset purchases. Exemptions are designed to avoid unnecessary scrutiny of transactions unlikely to impact competition. However, exemptions do not override the deal value threshold, so high-value deals may still require notification. Always check the current rules for precise conditions. Sector-specific exemptions are granted under Section 54 for certain industries or transaction types. For example, amalgamations of regional rural banks have been exempted for specified periods. These exemptions are time-bound and subject to renewal or lapse. Practitioners must verify whether a relevant exemption is currently in force for any transaction, as assumptions based on past exemptions can lead to compliance risk. Green channel is an automatic approval route for combinations with no horizontal, vertical, or complementary overlap between parties. Introduced in 2019 and codified in 2024, it allows eligible transactions to be deemed approved upon filing. Parties must self-certify compliance, and the CCI scrutinizes filings to prevent misuse. This route streamlines approval for non-overlapping deals, but requires careful analysis to ensure eligibility. Eligibility for the green channel depends on the absence of overlap. Parties must not produce or supply identical products, operate at different supply chain levels, or offer complementary services. The CCI requires mapping overlaps at the group level, not just between immediate parties. This ensures that group-level competition concerns are not overlooked. Proper eligibility analysis is essential for claiming green channel approval. Because green channel approval is automatic and self-certified, the CCI has increased scrutiny to prevent misuse. Penalties have been imposed for undisclosed overlaps or gun jumping related to green channel filings. Practitioners must treat eligibility as a substantive determination, not a procedural shortcut. This ensures that only genuinely non-overlapping transactions benefit from the streamlined process. Section 6(1) of the Competition Act prohibits combinations that cause or are likely to cause an appreciable adverse effect on competition AAEC in India. Crossing a threshold makes a transaction notifiable but not unlawful. The CCI's task is to assess whether the combination actually impacts competition. This substantive standard is central to merger control, ensuring that only harmful combinations are blocked. Section 24 lists factors the CCI must consider when assessing AAEC. These include competition through imports, barriers to entry, market concentration, countervailing power, price increases, effective competition, substitutes, market share, and removal of competitors. The CCI balances these factors to determine the impact of a combination. Understanding these statutory factors is key to predicting review outcomes. For applying AAEC factors, the CCI must define the relevant market. This includes the product market, substitutable product services, and geographic market areas with homogeneous competition conditions. Market definition is often the most contested step, as it influences concentration and AAEC risk. The Etihad Airways Jet Airways case illustrates how market definition shapes outcomes, with the CCI distinguishing domestic and international aviation market. Etihad Airways Jet Airways combination is a classic example of market definition and AAEC analysis. The CCI examined the impact on Indian aviation and cargo markets, considering market share, substitutes, and competitive landscape. The analysis concluded that the combination was unlikely to cause AAEC, highlighting the importance of precise market definition and statutory factor application. This case is frequently cited in both academic and practical contexts. The CCI finds that a combination causes AAEC. Prohibition is not the only option. Section 31 allows approval subject to modifications, such as divestiture or behavioral commitments. Section 29A formalizes voluntary modifications, enabling parties to propose remedies at the statement of objection stage. This flexibility allows many transactions to proceed in a modified form, balancing competition concerns with business need. CCI also considers pro-competitive factors, such as rescuing a failing firm or generating efficiencies. These considerations can offset anti-competitive risks, supporting approval of combinations that would otherwise be blocked. The failing firm doctrine is especially relevant in distressed M&A, while efficiency gains can include innovation and improved production. These factors are part of the CCI's overall balancing exercise. Section 23 mandates periodic review of thresholds, typically every 2 years. The central government can revise asset and turnover figures at any time, so practitioners must stay updated. This ensures that merger control remains responsive to economic changes and market dynamics. Always check the latest notifications before relying on threshold figures for any transaction. Asset value is determined by book value in audited accounts for the financial year preceding the relevant date. The same methodology applies to turnover. This ensures consistency and transparency in threshold calculations, reducing disputes and facilitating regulatory review. Understanding valuation rules is essential for accurate compliance and transaction planning. Definition of value of transaction under the deal value threshold is deliberately broad. It includes all forms of consideration, direct or indirect, immediate or deferred in cash or otherwise. Deferred and contingent payments are also counted. This prevents structuring deals to avoid notification, ensuring that all significant transactions are captured by merger control. Recent reforms address the practical challenges of on-market acquisitions of listed securities. Acquirers can complete purchases and notify the CCI within a prescribed window, but cannot exercise influence until approval is obtained. This balances the need for timely transactions with merger control requirements, ensuring compliance without disrupting market operations. Competition law interacts closely with insolvency-driven acquisitions. The Supreme Court decision mandates CCI approval before COSI approval of resolution plans. This affects transaction timelines and structuring, requiring careful coordination between competition and insolvency processes. Practitioners must understand both frameworks to ensure compliant and successful distressed M&A. Schedule A categories codify exemptions for certain transactions, such as investment-only acquisitions, intragroup deals, and asset purchases not related to business activity. These exemptions reflect settled CCI practice and are designed to streamline merger control. However, exemptions must be checked against current rules, as periodic revisions may alter their scope or conditions. Exemptions do not automatically apply if a transaction independently breaches the deal value threshold. This means that even if a deal qualifies for an exemption, it may still require CCI notification if its value exceeds 2,000 crore and the target has substantial business operations in India. Practitioners must analyze both exemption and DVT criteria for each transaction. Sector-specific exemptions are not permanent and may lapse or require renewal. For example, exemptions for regional rural banks are time-bound. Practitioners must verify the current status of sectoral exemptions for any transaction, as relying on outdated information can lead to compliance issues and regulatory penalties. Green channel eligibility requires parties to self-certify compliance through a prescribed filing format. This includes mapping overlaps at the group level and confirming absence of horizontal, vertical, or complementary relationships. Proper documentation is essential for successful green channel approval, as incomplete or inaccurate filings can lead to penalties and delays. CCI has imposed penalties for misuse of the green channel, such as undisclosed overlaps or premature implementation. Practitioners must conduct thorough overlap analysis and ensure accurate filings. Treating green channel as a shortcut can result in significant compliance risks, so eligibility must be carefully substantiated. Section 24 governs combinations, while Section 19.3 applies to anti-competitive agreements. The factors listed in Section 24 are specific to merger review and must not be confused with those for agreements. Students and practitioners should cite Section 24 for combination questions and Section 19.3 for agreement-related issues, ensuring accurate legal analysis. Relevant market is defined by product substitutability and geographic competition conditions. Section 2T covers product markets, while Section 2S addresses geographic markets. This definition is crucial for applying AAEC factors as it determines the scope of competition and potential impact of combinations. Accurate market definition is a cornerstone of merger control analysis. Narrowly defined market often shows higher concentration and AAEC risk, while a broadly defined market includes more substitutes and reduces risk. The outcome of market definition can be determinative in CCI reviews, influencing whether a combination is approved, modified, or blocked. Practitioners must carefully justify their market definitions in filings. Section 29A allows parties to propose voluntary modifications during the review process. These can include structural remedies such as divestiture or behavioral commitments. The CCI may approve combinations subject to these modifications, enabling transactions to proceed while addressing competition concerns. This process provides flexibility and encourages constructive engagement between parties and regulators. Outright prohibition of combinations is rare compared to unconditional approval or approval with modifications. The CCI prefers to allow transactions to proceed with remedies that address competition concerns. This approach balances regulatory objectives with business realities, supporting a dynamic and competitive market environment. Efficiency gains, such as innovation or improved production, can offset anti-competitive risks in combination review. The CCI considers these factors alongside statutory AAEC criteria, supporting approval of combinations that benefit the market. Efficiency considerations are increasingly important in technology and digital sector deals, where innovation drives competition. Failing firm doctrine recognizes that rescuing a business that would otherwise exit the market can be pro-competitive. This is especially relevant in insolvency-driven acquisitions, where combinations may prevent market disruption. The CCI weighs failing firm considerations as part of its overall balancing exercise, supporting approvals that preserve competition and economic stability. Combination review involves balancing anti-competitive risks with pro-competitive benefits. The The CCI considers statutory factors, market definition, efficiency gains, and failing firm doctrine to reach a decision. This holistic approach ensures that merger control supports both competition and economic development, fostering a healthy market environment. V completes the treatise's coverage of competition law in M&A. It explains notifiable combinations, thresholds, review processes, exemptions, green channel, and AAEC standards. Together with parts II, it covers the principal regulatory gateways, company law, securities law, and competition law. Understanding these frameworks is essential for structuring, approving, and consummating M&A transactions in India. Competition law and combination regulation covered, the treatise now transitions to Part VI, the due diligence framework. This section will explore legal, financial, and tax diligence processes that precede and shape every transaction structure. Due diligence is the foundation of successful M&A, ensuring informed decision-making and compliance with all regulatory requirements.